Hi, my name is Tony Aldapa, and I'm a film student at Mount St. Mary's University, working on my master's degree in acting and directing. I'm getting ready to graduate this upcoming May, so I've been spending a lot of time thinking about, how I got here. That's a big question everybody has whenever you're coming up for a big life event. Everyone wants to know, how did you get here? What led you to where you are right now? So I'd like to take a little bit of time and reflect on the places I've been, the things that I've done that did get me to where I am right now, getting ready to graduate with a master's degree in directing. It's something I never in a million years thought about. It was never a life goal for me. But hey, life throws some curveballs. You have to pivot sometimes, and this is where we ended up. My dream ever since I was a kid was to be a firefighter. It's all I ever wanted to do. And at one point in my life, I was. That dream came true. Things happened. Lost the dream. And now here we are. So let's go take a trip back in time. Look at the places I've been. Look at the things that I've done. And just get a better grasp of who I am and what led me to where I am now. So it all really starts after high school. I enlisted in the United States Navy. I was a hospital corpsman for almost 8 years. It was probably the big life event. My dad was in the Air Force. My grandpa was in the Army Air Corps. My granddad served in the Air Force. So naturally, I enlisted in the Navy to serve my country. 2009, I deployed to Afghanistan. This is me at Kanishan Castle in southern Afghanistan, Helmand Province. This is a really cool spot. Made some great memories there. This was Alexander the Great's castle in southern Afghanistan. So that was a really cool place to serve and deploy. During my time in the Navy, during my time serving in Hawaii, it's where I started to get kind of the acting bug. I was a background actor way before I ever joined the Navy. Just kind of a cool thing to do. Everybody loves movies. Everybody loves television, and I got an opportunity to be a background actor in 2006 in the movie Rush Hour 3. Acting was never really a thing for me until 2014. This is when I saw a casting notice when I was living in Hawaii. They were looking for people with waiter experience. So I lied. I showed up anyway. I did the audition, and that is when I got cast on Mystery Diners, my first ever acting gig. It was very, very fun, and that's kind of what kick-started just the thought of maybe being an actor. And that is when I decided, you know what, still want to be a firefighter, but it'd be really cool maybe to just play one on TV. The Firefighters in the movies, Backdraft, favorite movie of all time. Decided, it'd be really cool to be a firefighter on TV or play one in the movies. You still get to do all the cool stuff, but you only do the cool stuff. You don't have to cook and clean and do all the chores. You just go out and do really cool fires, really cool emergencies. So that kind of kicked the bug in the back of the mind. So, what, maybe I'll be an actor. Now, this leads us to October 2015. Halloween Day, my last day in the United States Navy. This was me in Pearl Harbor, Hawaii, hanging out in front of the USS Missouri, in my nice dress whites uniform. This was a bittersweet day, but something that was a long time coming. I loved every minute that I was in the Navy, but you know what? You have to move on sometimes. So I did. Got out of the Navy, moved back home with my parents, and that is when I started to really pursue the dream of being a firefighter. And in May of 2017, I graduated from the Solano College Fire Academy, the first real step to being a firefighter, the first in a long series of steps. There's so much that goes into being a firefighter. Graduating from an academy is the first step. In 2018, I was hired on with the San Diego County Fire Department, my first real firefighter job. It was a reserve job, so I worked 3 days a month up at Palomar Mountain. This is where I learned that it snows in San Diego. I had no idea until I worked up there that it snowed in San Diego, but I did have a white Christmas. So that was a really, really awesome thing. It was a stepping stone. Now, that stepping stone did lead me to finally getting hired at my dream fire department, the Los Angeles Fire Department. I got hired there in 2019, July of 2019. I moved up to Los Angeles. I was ready to go, and it was difficult. It was a very difficult training program, one of the longest, hardest fire academies in the entire world, and I was up for the challenge for the first 3 weeks. After 3 weeks, I got injured, had a career-ending injury, and the dream was gone, taken away from me in the blink of an eye. And my plan was to keep trucking, to get better, to rehab, to get back to it. But as we all know what happened in early 2020, COVID, the world shut down, all the training programs, all the physical therapy, all the rehabs were gone. So I was unable to continue my training for the fire department, and I had to pivot. April 2020, I got a job working at the West Los Angeles VA Medical Center as an intermediate care technician. It was essentially a job for former medics and corpsmen to keep using the medical skills that we were using in the military, but in the civilian sector. This was a really awesome job that I started on the same day the world shut down. I was working in the emergency room all throughout COVID. I worked there for almost 2 years. But during that time, I was registered with Central Casting, and I was still going out working background jobs, still trying to maybe pursue that dream of becoming an actor. But I wasn't thinking about it 100%, wasn't too serious about it. But in September 2021, I did get one of the coolest roles ever. I played a Washington, D.C. cop on the television show Gaslit on Starz, which was working on the Universal Studios Hollywood backlot, which is a dream for anybody that's an actor. To work on that Universal backlot, it was an amazing experience watching the trams go by, waving at the guests on the trams while I was there as an actor. They didn't know who I was. They didn't know what I was doing. They were just really excited to see somebody on the backlot on a television set waving at them. So that was a really cool, awesome opportunity. End of 2021, that is when I decided I'm going to start taking this acting thing seriously. This is the new goal. I was done working in the medical field at the emergency room. I knew I was never going to be a firefighter again, so I decided, hey, let's pursue acting. I started looking at all the different schools and the different programs, and that is when I found Mount St. Mary's University. I applied, I got accepted into the master's program for film, and it was an awesome feeling. I had to write a screenplay, first time I've ever wrote anything in my life. But that screenplay was called Short Drive, and in April 2022, I got together with a couple of my friends, and I directed Short Drive, the first film that I ever directed. I had some amazing actors working with me, really awesome crew. It was a really cool learning opportunity. I did it for a class, but it was a lot more than just that. It was a really cool experience and something that I decided I loved. I loved writing, I loved directing, almost as much as I love acting. September 2022, I was cast as a firefighter in a movie. This movie was called Engage. It's a virtual reality movie. I was cast to play a firefighter. The dream came true. I had been a firefighter in real life, and I finally got to play one on screen. It was such a cool experience, really my first acting experience. I did a lot of background before that. Mystery Diners wasn't really acting, but Engage was the first time I really felt like I was a real actor. When I directed Short Drive, I had no intention of doing anything with it. I did it for the grade, and that was it. But once I learned that it was something I could submit to film festivals, I did it. And in January 2023, Short Drive premiered at the Chandler International Film Festival in Chandler, Arizona. We're one of the top 3 student films. That was one of the coolest things of my entire life. I had my actors there with me, along with a couple of my best friends that live in Arizona. My dad, my aunt, everybody came out, and it was such an amazing experience getting to see my work on the big screen. And that is when I really felt that I had become a director. That was the first real time that I considered myself a director. We kept going to film festivals. April 2023 Sacktown Movie Buff Film Festival in Sacramento, up in my hometown. It was awesome because my mom was able to see my film on the big screen for the first time, where I took home the award for Best Student Film. And the acting continued. I still wanted to be an actor. I was more established as a director by this time. I still didn't really like writing. Acting was still the biggest thing. And in May of 2023, I joined the Screen Actors Guild after playing, yes, another firefighter in a Verizon commercial this time. Now, when you're going to school and you're trying to become an actor, you still need a side job. You need something to make money. And in May of 2023, I got hired at Universal Studios Hollywood to be a studio tour guide on the world famous Universal Studio Tour. And being able to work there, to be part of Universal, to be part of the studio tour, that was really, really awesome. It's something that not a lot of people get to do. It's one of the hardest jobs to get at the park, and I was lucky enough to have been able to been accepted and to get that job. October 2023, the big one. I went to the Show Low Film Festival in the Whitecap Mountains of Arizona, and I won Best of the Fest. 150 movies were at that film festival, and Short Drive took home the top prize, the number one prize, the Best of the Fest. This was the final film festival that I had entered into, and it was really, really awesome to be there and to win. It was a great reflection for all of my actors and everyone else that was on the crew. Now, the acting and the directing was still number one, but I still didn't really consider myself a writer. That's when I took the production workshop A class at Mount St. Mary's, and I wrote a film called Served with a Smile that was selected to be produced in the fall, November 2023. We filmed Served with a Smile at the iconic Pink Motel in the San Fernando Valley. I got to work on the crew. I got to be a grip, which is a really, really cool experience. And then February 2024, I took a trip to Chicago. Chicago Fire is probably my favorite television show on TV right now. So when I was in Chicago, I had to visit Station 51. It is my dream as an actor to work there one day, to be a firefighter at Station 51. So it was really cool to go check that out in person. The summer 2024, the Universal Studio Tour turned 60 years old. It is a gem. It is the reason Universal Studios, the theme park, exists. I was able to be a part of that. I was able to be a studio tour guide for the 60th anniversary of the Universal Studio Tour. And that leads us into now. That was the summer 2024. Now, I'm writing my thesis. I'm getting ready to film it in February, and the goal for that is to win an Oscar. I'm kidding. It would be really cool to win an Oscar. It's not going to happen with my thesis, but this is me and the Walt Disney Archives holding a real Oscar. So I've held one before. I will hold one again someday. So that's it. That's how I got here. That is where I've been. That is who I am. All of those landmark memories, all of those things I've done in my life have led me to where I am right now. And all of those things are what I feel make me such a great storyteller. I have life experience. I've done things. I've been places. I have stories to tell, and I will continue to tell them. So follow along, check them out, and I will see you at the Oscars one day. Thank you guys so much for following along.